I'm living my best life. I wake up with the sunrise. It does not look a thing like I thought that it would.
I want to talk to you about the cost of living in Thailand. And everybody knows the cost of living in Thailand is incredibly inexpensive. In fact, I did a video on that, and if you want to watch it, it gives you the nuts and bolts on cost of living for housing and food and everything like that. But the purpose of this video was to talk about a mistake that people make, because so many people focus on the cost of living and how inexpensive they can live. And they come here and they kind of forget why they came. Why you come is not the cost of living. Why you should be coming is the quality of life.
Living my best life.
Because you can have an incredibly high quality of life here that you can't have at home because of what things cost. So stick with me, let's talk about how to have a super high quality of life in Thailand.
Well, you can tell by the way I use my walk, I'm a woman's man, no time to talk. Music loud, women walk, being kicked around since I was born. Never tolerate, that's okay, and you may look the other way, but we can try to understand.
It seems like my entire adult life I spent it wearing suits and dressing up, and even once I stopped working every day, I still had a closet full of clothes. I had summer clothes and winter clothes and spring clothes, and I had casual clothes and formal clothes, and it's just the lifestyle that you have in the West. And in Thailand, every day is a casual day. Every day is a hot day, or at least a warm day. So I know guys, and they swear to me, all they own are flip-flops, shorts, and t-shirts. And I'm pretty much the same way. I own one pair of long pants in Thailand, and I actually don't know if I've ever worn them. And I do own more than flip-flops, but the only reason I have tennis shoes is because I like to play sports and I like to go hiking. Otherwise, I live in shorts, t-shirts and polo shirts and flip-flops. And I'm telling you, that simplicity, that comfort, that affordability, that is quality of life.
Come on, come on, come on, come on, now touch me, baby.
To me, nothing epitomizes the quality of life in Thailand more than getting a massage. I'm getting a 90-minute full body Thai massage that ends with a hot stone treatment, and it's 450 baht. In California, if I were to get a massage for 90 minutes, it'd be probably $150 and a 20% tip. So in Thailand, I can get 2 or 3 massages a week, maybe 10 a month, and it costs me less than getting just a single massage in California. And the thing is, when I get a massage in California, and I think I've only gotten 2 my entire life, because they're so expensive, I don't even really enjoy them. The whole time I'm thinking, with that $180, I could be getting a new tennis racket or a new power tool. So here I can completely relax and enjoy it. And the massage itself, I think, is even better. Here they don't just use their hands, they use their feet and their elbows and their forearms, and it's just a great massage. And when it's all done, I feel like it's great for my body, it's great for my mind. I just totally relax. So when you come to Thailand, don't forget these kind of pleasures every day. And remember, that's why you came. What about transportation? This next one's going to depend completely on where you're from. But I was born and raised in Southern California, and that means I spent my life in a car. In my commuting days, it was an hour and a half each way to work. So when I came to Thailand, I really wanted to be able to get everywhere on foot. Where I live right now, there's probably 50 restaurants and coffee shops within a 5-minute walk. And if it's too far to walk, I can get on my bike, which is a bit of a fun adventure, a lot more fun than a car. And if I don't want to get on my bike, I can get a Grab or a Bolt, and a 10 or 15 minute ride only costs about 75 to 100 baht. When I was a younger guy, and by that I mean like under 50, I didn't really appreciate food, but now it's actually a major part of my life. And let's face it, when you live in America, when you live in Europe, you really got to think before you go out to a meal. I mean, if you're taking yourself out, or maybe you're taking out, your girlfriend, your wife, what's it going to cost you? 50 to 60 bucks for lunch, 60 to 80 bucks for dinner, a drink, a meal, a tip, tax. So my plate of pad thai wrapped in egg is 60 baht. If I'm here with Joy, it's 120 baht. If we each get a bottle of water, that's 10 baht each for that. So for two people, it's going to be 120 baht, 150, 160 baht. And this isn't just true of pad thai. I mean, about the same cost to get a great bowl of khao soi or pork shoulder soup. And I know some of you guys are probably thinking, well, yeah, that's Thai food. I don't want to eat Thai food all the time. And that's true even for me. I like Western food once in a while. The cool thing about Thailand is they've got every kind of cuisine that you can want. American food, French food, German food, Chinese food. I mean, you name it, they've got it here. Korean barbecue. And yeah, that does cost a little bit more. It probably costs about 2 to 3 times what an inexpensive Thai meal will cost, but it's still cheaper than it would be in the West.
And when I touch you, I feel happy inside. It's such a feeling that my love I can hide, I can hide, I can hide. Yeah, you.
I think on this subject, everybody's going to fall into one of 3 categories. The first one is guys that are alone, and they like being alone, and they want to stay alone. They just want to do it in Thailand. So there's a lot of people like that, and great, good for you. But I want to talk about the other 2 categories, because for them, the quality of life, in other words, your happiness, is really dependent upon your success. And the first one is guys that are not interested in a long-term relationship. To put it really bluntly and directly, which, as you know, I always am, guys that want sex, lots of it, with lots of women, and they don't want to pay much for it. The reputation of Thailand is true. It is a sex industry paradise for guys that want that. And for the price of a date, you can go and instead spend an evening with an incredibly beautiful young woman and have a lot of fun. So for the guys in that category, whether you're in Bangkok or Pattaya, especially those 2 cities, but actually pretty much any Thai city, that's open to you, and it's quite public and quite easy. I'm not in that category. I'm really not interested in those kind of relationships. I fall into the kind of the old-fashioned kind of guy that I want one woman, and I want that one person in my life for a long, long time. So why is Thailand a good place to go to find happiness and quality of life in this particular category? Let's start with the women that you're going to meet. First, I've got to separate the fact that you're going to find different types of women in Thailand. I mean, that's true in any country, but especially in Thailand. There's women that work in the, I'll politely say, entertainment industry, like I was just talking about. And a lot of guys kind of get fixated in that category. And even when they're looking for a long-term relationship, quite often unwisely start there. But when we're talking about not that category, but everyday Thai women, I mean, the kind of women that you meet when you're shopping at the grocery store, or she's a nurse in a hospital, or she's a teacher at a school down the street. I'm talking about your everyday Thai woman. At least in my opinion, and in the opinion of a lot of people, the values of these Thai women is very family-oriented, very husband-oriented. I don't want to be speaking negatively of women in my home country of the United States, because there's many amazing women available here. I just can't find any. But there are many incredible California and American women. But the philosophy is different. It seems like Western women, at least in my opinion, and again, I apologize, I'm going to offend somebody out there, but Western women tend to look to their partners, their husbands, their boyfriends, with the expectation of make me happy, fulfill me. In other words, instead of finding their own happiness and you are a part of that happiness, you are the main source or non-source of that contentment. In Thailand, I just get a different feeling. It kind of reminds me of America in like the 50s, the 60s. It's kind of an old-fashioned traditional relationship between a man and a woman, where there's no embarrassment by the woman about being a caretaker, about maybe being a homemaker, about wanting to really make her husband happy. Obviously, a good husband is working just as hard to make his Thai wife happy. But I think that there's just more of that mindset in Thailand than there is in the West. And here's the other thing, is what kind of Thai women are going to be interested in you? And here's the reality of the situation, is that it's kind of like changing high schools. And you went from being kind of an average semi-dork, describing myself, in your high school, and suddenly go to a new high school and all of a sudden you're kind of a popular guy and you wonder what happened. And what I mean by that is that Thai women tend to find Western guys, and I don't mean every Thai woman, but a lot of Thai women find Western guys more attractive and more desirable than Thai guys. Not that anything's wrong with a Thai man, but I think opposites kind of attract. I mean, I know for me, I don't know exactly why it happened, but a certain number of years ago, I just suddenly thought, man, Asian women are the most beautiful women in the world, more than Caucasian women. And a lot of guys think that way. Is there anything maybe surprising that Asian women think the same thing about Western men? And it's not just looks, it's education, it's maybe I'll say a degree of world sophistication that exists in the West that doesn't exist in Thailand. And it's also money. I know that there's the joke all the time that Thai women are after Westerners because, you know, they want more money. But let me ask you something. Pretty much any woman in the world, when you're asking her to describe her perfect partner, she's going to say, well, I'd like him to have a job or an income, and I want him to be able to provide a home for us. Is that anything unusual? The difference is that when you go to Thailand with, let's say, a small income, maybe you've got a pension or Social Security of $1,500 a month. Well, in America, where women are just as impressed by income, well, no one's going to be impressed by your income. In fact, you're poor under the standards of American life. You take that same income and you go to Thailand, and all of a sudden you are in the upper class of Thailand. You can have a very, very good life. So it doesn't mean that a woman is just after you for your money. It just means that, like any person, she wants a good quality life with a roof over her head and food on the table. Joy and I did a video on Thai dating, and we talk about that in more detail. And by the way, if you want to watch any of the videos that I mentioned, I'll list them and I'll give a link to them in the first comment under this video and also in the description. So if you're the kind of guy that's looking for a long-term relationship, either a girlfriend or a wife, nothing is going to be more directly related to your happiness than finding the right partner who really meets your dreams in terms of looks and personality. So to me, this is a big one related to your quality of life.
No, you're not alone, 'cause I'm gonna make this place your home.
I don't know about you guys, but for me, where I live is really, it's a really big decision for me. I mean, I spend a fair amount of time at home, and I like to socialize a bit at home. So it's an important decision for me. So there's this tendency for a lot of people when they go to Thailand, you know, they want everything to be cheap, cheap, cheap. And they say, my gosh, I can get, you know, a studio for 10,000 baht and it's a pretty nice one, or a one bedroom for 15,000 baht. And that's true. I mean, almost anywhere in Thailand, you can find those kind of prices, except central Bangkok, and except for like oceanfront property that you pay more for. But I've got a suggestion for you. Instead of just finding the cheapest place to live and save a lot of money, remember, we're talking about your quality of life, your happiness. So instead of cutting your housing bill by 50% or 75% or whatever it might be, consider spending about the same amount that you pay maybe in your home country and just get an incredibly amazing place in Thailand. I'll show you my place. I just did a video on it. So this unit, for a 1-year lease, the monthly rent is 28,000 baht per month. This is in the central part of Chiang Mai, one of the best neighborhoods, overlooking this huge green belt like you're in a jungle. It's a beautiful new building with a gorgeous pool, a nice gym, a sauna, all that kind of stuff. Now, by Thai standards, that's a really expensive rent, but it's all relative. I mean, in California, where I'm from, to get a nice 1-bedroom condominium or apartment of about the same size, it's about 700 square feet, 70 square meters, with an incredible view and all those amenities, would probably cost about $2,500, maybe $3,000 a month. So if I'm going to spend 28,000 baht, for me, it's a bargain. So my suggestion is, instead of going cheap on housing, consider spending about the same amount or close to the amount you're spending already and just get an incredibly nice place to live.
Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Here come bad news talking this and that.
Let's talk about recreation and socialization, because they're both really important things to be happy in Thailand and have a good quality of life. Let's talk about recreation first. For a lot of people, if you're like me, being active is really important and is part of being healthy and happy. So the nice thing about Thailand is they've got pretty much every sport they probably have in your home country, unless it's an ice sport, I guess, because of the heat. But they've got pretty much everything, and most of the sports that they have are much more affordable here. Golf, as an example, is incredibly expensive in my hometown of California. But here in Chiang Mai, there's some really affordable golf options. And there's also sports that you'd never consider in other countries. For example, badminton is incredibly popular in Thailand, and it's easy to find a place to play with indoor courts all over pretty much every city. And how about free things to do? I love to hike, and of course I live in Chiang Mai, which is up in the north, and it's famous for hiking. We've got beautiful waterfalls. Right now I'm at Hue Thong Tao, which is a reservoir, and I'll show you a little bit here. I'm at one end. It's pretty cool because all the way around the side they've got these little huts where you can buy lunch, which I'm going to do with Haley and Lamar in just a minute. I'm here with my daughter Haley and my friend Lamar. And what about socialization? Well, Thailand is an incredibly friendly country. I think not only ties to Farangs, but Farang to Farang. We were walking around the reservoir and we bumped into this nice big Thai group, and they insisted that we share a shot of whiskey with them and a glass of beer. And I passed on the whiskey because I don't really drink. I did accept the beer, and it's kind of funny because I don't really drink alcohol, but when I got this, it was full. And suddenly it's empty. I'm going to blame it on the heat. And I don't know exactly why it is, but I find it easier to make friends in Thailand than I do at home. Maybe it's because in Thailand we're all kind of outsiders. I mean, we're basically, I never view myself as an ethnic minority, but in Thailand I am. So it's not like you see another Westerner and it's, hey, fellow Westerner, let's talk. It's not like that at all. There's just too many Westerners here. But I think it does give us something in common that we may otherwise wouldn't have. So when you're in Thailand, there's so many expat groups. There's so many Facebook groups. It's so easy to meet other people. And they're always meeting up with kind of a theme, like, you know, a computer group or a photography group or a hiking group or you name it. I mean, they're just all kinds of activities. So it's really easy to meet other people.
Doctor, doctor, give me the news. I got a bad case of loving you.
And what about medical care? Let's face it, that's a really big issue when we get older, is having high quality available medical care. Equally important is that it's at a low cost, because the problem that we have in most countries is our insurance or our retirement benefits that give us insurance, such as for Americans, I'm talking about Medicare. In general, we lose that if we move overseas full time. So it's really important to have not just high quality medical care, but affordable medical care. And I don't want to spend too much time on it in this video, because I've done other videos that are completely dedicated to the quality of hospitals and the cost of medical care provided by those hospitals, going to pharmacies and what the cost of medicines are. I give actual specific medicines and compare the prices between America and Thailand, and the issue of getting health insurance in Thailand. But even if you don't get health insurance, either because you're too old to get it or you just don't want to pay for it, the good news is that medical care in Thailand is incredibly affordable. And by that I mean, and I'm going to compare it to my home country of America, which is infamous for outrageously high medical costs. This isn't true for everywhere in the world, but comparing it to America, most hospitals in Thailand will provide the same medical services at basically 90% less to about 60% less, depending on the hospital you go to, than in an American hospital. And the quality of care can be just as good. And I'm going to say one last thing on the subject of medical care as it relates to the quality of life. Because one of the big complaints that people have in their home country, especially my home country of America, is that it's really hard to see a doctor, especially a specialist, quickly. Especially if you're with an HMO or a PPO, that you've got to wait an inordinately long time to actually see someone. In the meantime, you're anxious, you're nervous, you're wondering about your condition. And then once you see the doctor, you quite often wait weeks to get the results. In Thailand, that just doesn't seem to happen in my experience. I've gone to the hospital twice. In both occasions, I was seen by a doctor, I would say within 20 minutes of walking in the front door. Those are both private hospitals. If I'd gone to a public hospital, I'd still be seen the same day, but I would likely be waiting several hours, but at least I'd be seen the same day. And another nice thing is on both those occasions as well, I got my test results immediately. I wasn't told to come back days later or weeks later and hear the result of my x-ray. They take it and they walk you back in and say, here's what your x-ray shows. So to me, the quality of life in Thailand with medical care is very high because it's high quality, it's extremely inexpensive, and it's fast. Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope that you enjoyed it. I always really enjoy making these videos for you, and I hope you find them informative. Usually at this point I would say, I hope you subscribe and all that kind of stuff, but I'm going to try a little bit of reverse psychology, and I'm going to say, don't even think about subscribing to my channel. I mean, seriously, you are forbidden to subscribe to this channel. Don't give it a like. Do not share it. Absolutely do not post it on your Facebook page. Don't do any of those things, okay? I don't want any new subscribers. We'll see what that does. Hey, thanks for watching, and until I see you guys again, safe travels and Kap Kun Kap.